So when you think about Hawaii, probably the first thing that comes to mind are the famous Hawaiian donkeys, right? Well, this is Joni, and she's part of what inspired Mudbray, the new Pokemon for Pokemon Sun and Moon. In the Alola region, Mudbray is on the brink of extinction due to being overhunted. And while they used to roam all over the world, the only Mudbray that are left can be found running wild in Alola. While the story of Mudbray is based on the Hawaiian donkeys, it's a bit of an exaggeration. The actual story of the donkeys is much less depressing. Joni is a descendant of the donkeys that were brought over to the west side of the Big Island during the early days of the coffee plantations. To learn more about how these donkeys became wild and how they got to where they are today, we're heading out of the rainforest to Aina Animal Hospital in Waimea, Hawaii, to meet up with some of the people that are involved in adopting these donkeys out.
I'm Keith Dane. I'm the Senior Advisor on Equine Protection for the Humane Society of the United States. And I live here on the Big Island of Hawaii. When we first heard about this project and were contacted to see if we could help, I was a frequent visitor to the island, and being a horseman, I was very concerned about the welfare of these animals.
The donkeys were originally brought over to help with the coffee plantations. Over time, as technology progressed, farming equipment became better and better, and the donkeys became inefficient. Many of the farmers decided that it would be okay to let the donkeys free and allow them to fend for themselves, and for a long time that worked. As time moved on and tourism began to explode on the Big Island of Hawaii, many resorts were built on the west side where the donkeys like to hang out. To a lot of the resorts, the donkeys became a nuisance. They would come in and tear up golf courses. They would walk in the only highway that was on the west side at the time, and that put a lot of people driving in danger and the donkeys. This pushed the donkeys Mauka, or inland toward the mountain in the Waikoloa area, giving them the nickname the Waikoloa Nightingales. They eventually ended up on property owned by the Waikoloa Village Association, and for a while this was okay, but eventually they started to breed and breed, their numbers growing up to almost 500 donkeys, and they bred without any control or oversight whatsoever. Because of their large numbers, the donkeys started to compete with the local ranchers' cattle and other animals for forage and water. This was the start of a huge problem that was about to get worse.
During a heavy drought about 5 years ago, it became a real crisis situation. The animals were suffering. They were starting to, once again, travel onto golf courses and into roadways in the Waikoloa village area, and were being seen as a nuisance by some, as a threat to the safety of motorists again, and of course, their own welfare was being endangered. So the Humane Society of the United States was contacted to see if we could come up with a plan to help these guys out. We worked with a lot of local folks. Anika Glass from Waikoloa Village was a main advocate that really cared about the donkeys and wanted to see them saved. There was talk of eradicating them because there were so many and the population was out of control.
With help from people like Keith, Dr. Brady Bergin, Ugo Sapp, Bird MacGyver, and Stan Boteilho, the community was able to come together and remove 450 of the wild donkeys in just a year and a half. They then adopted these donkeys out to people and organizations on the Big Island, neighboring islands, and even Los Angeles. Each donkey has a unique personality, and when you earn their trust, they're your teammates for life.
My name is Ray Aina. I'm a local rancher, and I'm one of those that I adopted a donkey previously, and I think I've had it for about 3 months now, and I got him to where I can catch him, halter him, saddle him up, ride him around, and I'm bringing back what they were originally used for, is to pack as a pack animal, and also I have livestock, which is sheep, goats, cattle. And a single donkey will protect the livestock when there's a pack of wild dogs. As you can see here, these ones, they've been handled a little bit enough to where you can pretty much, I can get a foot away, where they're used to where this big one here, I can get about 3-4 feet, a little more skittish, and his comfort bubble and used to around humans is a little less. You can see this one here has never been handled once he came in from the wild, but just a little, if yes, and spots that he'll let me touch right now versus those other ones. Once you gain their trust, that's trust for life. He's accepting me touching and petting him all over the place, and he'll move once if I move here. You can see that he's letting me know that that's the place that I don't want to touch, which is his bottom of his feet. Then you can see how her leg came up to let me know that, you know what, this is as far as you can go without touching her. But you can see how far there, my arm is only about 3 to 4 feet long, and their leg here is about 4 feet. So they have that advantage of letting me know physically that I shouldn't be. They can reach out and touch me.
A lot of equines like to groom each other by standing opposite each other and then scratching with their mouths and their teeth on each other's withers right here. So that's a way to get to know donkeys and let them get to know you and be friendly with them, just petting them and scratching on the withers. So while most of these guys have already been adopted and found good homes, there are still some available. So if anyone who's watching is interested, they can contact us and we can hook them up.
The bond between a donkey and their rancher parallels the bond between a Pokemon and their trainer. Like Ray said, it only takes one donkey to protect livestock full of sheep, goats, and cattle. But the donkey will only do that when it builds trust. A team cannot survive without trust, and if we've learned anything from the Waikoloa Nightingale, it's that trust takes hard work, patience, and the ability to be understanding even when we can't understand the other party.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and for more information on these guys, visit humanesociety.org/Hawaii donkeys. Thanks.